Hi, friends. So for my post this week, I wanted to talk a little bit through my experience in church contexts with Acts 2 being integrated into that. I have been in the church since I was really young. I grew up in an evangelical free church tradition, and now I work for a PCUSA church. It's small on the East Coast, still right in the middle of the Bible Belt, though, in Charleston, South Carolina. And the church I work for now is young, and so it's only been like worshiping together for about a year and a half. And about almost a year of that now has been through COVID. So that's been interesting as well, which also makes a whole nother, there's a whole nother wrench in the community aspect of things. But one of the things that this class I'm really interested in learning and from kind of exploring is I'm kind of trying to figure out how the church can authentically do community and for folks to be able to stay true to their personal convictions that they have in their faith whilst being able to love their neighbors and the people who they're in community with, who might not agree fully with everybody's different theological background. So I'm at a church that's pretty progressive, but we've got people all over the map as far as what people affirm, what they don't affirm, and what people accept and they don't accept. And so it brings challenges in how to do community. And so one of the things that I really liked that Christine Pohl said in the chapter we read was she kind of talks about C.S. Lewis' The Four Loves, which is also a great book, and I've read, but I hadn't thought about this, and she points this out. In the friendship chapter in The Four Loves, C.S. Lewis comments that while lovers look at each other, friends stand side by side. And friends stand beside each other because their eyes are fixed on what they have in common rather than on each other. And friends have a common vision. They see the same truth. And so I guess for me, it's reminds me of in Acts 2 when I've heard a lot of churches throw this around, saying, using the Acts 2 church model, and they had everything in common, and this is what it looked like, and people took what they needed, and it was really great. But the fact of the matter is, the early church had a lot of strife, hence all of Paul's letters, about what was okay to eat, what wasn't okay to eat, who could worship with who, and people were allowed in buildings, and what morality looked like in very different cultures. And so I think we still are dealing with that today. And so that's really what I found interesting to kind of think through and reflect on this week in our reading. And so I will post my question, but my question basically, I'll say it as well, and then I'll also type it so people can see it. But how do we do community well without needing people that we're doing community with, without needing their behavior to match or their moralism to match exactly what we think it should be, if that makes sense, based on how we interpret Scripture. Is it important for churches to all be on the same page doctrinally in order to worship together? And what's essential in our faith and what's not? What are we willing to say? Yeah, you need to believe this, but you don't have this. We don't have to agree on this. So anyways, that's where I'm at, but thanks guys, and I hope you'll have a good week.